your thoughts on Keith Thurman. We saw how he looked against Barrios, arguably winning every round. Barrios looked beat up. It was impressive after a 2-year layoff since the Manny Pacquiao loss, his first career loss. What do you think is next for Keith Thurman? Do you see him having a warm-up fight, or do you see it Crawford next, or is it Spence? Does he wait on the Spence Ugas result? What do you think is next for Keith Thurman, and who do you think he should fight?
I think Keith Thurman should fight the winner of this fight. You know what I mean? Let him fight the winner of this fight. Then that winner should take on either Crawford or Spence.
Okay. Look, I think that Keith Thurman is going to try to pursue, and Danny Garcia expressed interest in that fight. He was interviewed and said, hey, I want the rematch with Keith Thurman. I think it's going to be Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. If not that, and maybe a little bit of a wild card, I think Sean Porter comes back for a rematch against Keith Thurman on pay-per-view. Another big payday. I don't think Sean Porter is done. He's saying he's done. His podcast is amazing. Love his personality, the honorable inside and outside the ring. But I believe Sean Porter, Keith Thurman 2 could happen. For the right amount of money, I think Sean Porter will come out of retirement, and I could see him fighting Keith Thurman. But we'll see how everything plays out. I'll even throw this one in. Canelo Alvarez, a lot of talk around him. Do you have any interest at all, Coach, of seeing Canelo Alvarez fight Bivol and then fighting Triple G? Are you interested in seeing that, or would you rather have seen a Charlo get a chance, or another name? He's starting to become a boogeyman a little bit, David Benavidez. Which fight would you rather see? What do you want to see next from Canelo?
Well, I think all those fighters Canelo could beat. I think Benavidez is just too young. He has power, but you're not going to just walk up on Canelo and knock him out. That's not going to happen. It'll be like Mayweather against a young Canelo. The other fighters, I think Canelo has just too much for them. Triple G, too old. You know what I mean? Triple G really won the first fight. Canelo won the second fight. And normally when that happens, there's 3 fights, and the person who normally wins the second fight normally wins the third fight.
Yep. I think Canelo would be favored in all those fights, but if I was looking on paper who I'd be most concerned about, I think the deal that he declined, and he's most likely going to take the Bivol Triple G route for over $100 million. I think there's some concerns with Charlo and his style. I'm not saying he could beat him, but I think he gives him some problems being in his prime, being a world champion. And I think David Benavidez, I think Benavidez right now is a really good fighter that nobody wants to see. I don't think Charlo wants anything to do with him. I don't think Caleb Plant wants anything to do with him. And it seems like Canelo doesn't want the smoke from him either. And Canelo's thinking, well, I'm such a huge name. You need to go prove yourself. But the problem is, who wants to fight David Benavidez? But looking at the Bivol fight, I think Bivol he's an accomplished champion. He's a pretty good fighter. But I think Canelo's too quick for him. Fighting a guy like Canelo, you need to have speed. And if you don't have the speed, you need to hit him real hard. And that's going to be the question. Can Bivol touch up Canelo enough to give him issues? I don't think that happens. And Triple G, which is probably the most appealing for the public because of what happened in the first 2 fights, he might be too old. But I think he gives him a decent fight in the early rounds. But I think Canelo later on, I would hope so, he would try to do it, should stop Triple G in the late rounds. But we'll see. We'll see if they can get that finalized, because allegedly they're just waiting on Triple G to agree to the deal. So we'll see if it happens, and they're probably working out money. If I'm Triple G, I need my money too. I might need $20 million for that fight. We'll see how that goes down. But can't wait for the Amir Khan Kell Brooks showdown in Manchester Arena in England. This is presented by Your Future Media, and get involved at GGC. I'm Jansen Harris, the Combat Sports Podcast, with Coach Vinny DeVortex.